Good morning, Rabbi. Speaking about, continuing what we were speaking about yesterday, which is that a person, unfortunately, who has corona and he's in quarantine, he's still obligated to, whatever extent he can, in the mitzvot of Purim. So, for instance, we were speaking about the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot yesterday. In general, the Halacha is that he has to send Mishloach Manot. Now, if there are people in his household that are not in quarantine, okay, so he can send it with them. Matov Manayim, take 2 food gifts, a food and a drink, whatever it is, send it with them. Send it to somebody else, tell them, take it to whoever it is, and he's just saying that way. Let's say everybody in his house is quarantined, then he can't get out. Nobody can get out. So, if he can, you should call a friend and say, listen, I'm going to leave something at the door, and come pick it up if you can, and give it to Ploni, and he's going to say that way. Let's say nobody at home can take it for him, nobody can come pick anything up, everybody wants to stay away from him. So what does a person do in that way? So now, at first glance, what about if he calls his friend and say, do me a favor, do it for me, you take care of it for me. So, if he calls a friend and asks him to take care of it for him, that's not necessarily good. Why? Because if what's the friend going to do? The friend's going to go into his own cabinet or go to the store and get something and say, okay, this is for, he gives it to the other guy on behalf of Ploni. But he's giving his own gift. That belongs to the neighbor or the friend or whatever it is. That doesn't belong to the person in quarantine. So what does he have to do first? He has to do what we call in Bilshon Chazal, lezakot al yidei acher, which means they has to take the food. I can take my own food, give it to somebody else, and say, listen, you raise it now, acquire it on behalf of my friend in quarantine. He takes it, he picks it up. The second he picks it up, the guy in quarantine, it belongs to him. Now I say, okay, give it back. Now I can go and do Mishloach Manot on his behalf, because when I give it now I'm no longer giving my own thing, now I'm giving his thing, and in that way, I can be mezakeh oto with the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot when he can't get around. Now again, this year we're going to have to be a little bit creative with these mitzvot. Matanot le'avinim is much easier. We'll speak about that tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Sudat Purim, depending on how he's feeling. Mikra Megillah, we'll speak about next week, B'ezrat Hashem, about Mikra Megillah and those in quarantine, because it's not so easy. But, Halacha requires a person to be a little bit creative under the circumstances. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll get to it. Yom Tov.